And the Rockies begin the second half from Citi Field in Queens, the home of the New York Mets. Charlie Blackmon coming off another all-star first half. Carlos Gonzalez looking to get rejuvenated in the second half. And, of course, Nolan Arenado, where he seemingly always is, leading the league in RBIs. So tonight, the Rockies and New York Mets get together after a 4-day all-star break. And the Rockies come in 13 games above 500 on the season. Good evening, everybody. Glad as always that you're along. We're really excited about a little bit of news we're going to bring you today. We have officially become AT&T Sportsnet, and this is terrific news. I think all of you will enjoy our new look on the air, and of course we're now married to a worldwide brand, so it's good stuff for everybody involved. And speaking of everybody involved, with that I bring in my partner, Ryan Spilborg.
Yeah, these look nice, don't they?
These look really cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
and
I tell you what, the graphics package are going to blow people away. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch Rockies baseball, even more than it was in the first half, and we know how much fun we had watching.
I cannot believe how good of a first half it was for the Rockies. You may have looked at the last 3 weeks, but who cares about that? 52 wins is a franchise record. When they get into the All-Star break with an over 500 winning percentage, guess what? The 3 times they've done it, gone to the playoffs. We've seen a lot of great stories. Charlie Blackmon, the All-Stars. It's been a fantastic first half.
And you know what else happened in the first half? Late in the first half, the return of the Gray Wolf. John Gray came back, and John Gray has thrown very good baseball. In fact, he has started 5 ball games, and the Rockies are 5-0 in his starts.
Since the last 2 starts, he's 2-0 with the 3.09 ERA. He's been very impressive. It goes back to the very first start against the Arizona Diamondbacks. We saw 10 strikeouts, only 1 walk, and that's important for John. The slider has been his command pitch. He's using it to strike out hitters, and against Cincinnati, again, we saw not the amount of strikeouts, but we saw him command the fastball with the slider. Oh yeah, he hit a ball nearly 600 feet.
Bill, you remember as a player what it feels like when you got that break. It's a long first half, and the Rockies were terrific, but now they have a newfound bounce in the step. They probably couldn't wait to get to the yard today.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't wait for this All-Star break to be over with because they wanted to get back on their mission to get to the playoffs. They're second in the wild card right now. They feel it. You can see the confidence. It was a much-needed breather, but the way that they finished the last 2 games with Kyle Freeland, the way that it felt at Coors Field, it was perfect for this break.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of guys had time off. A few guys did not have time off. The Rockies All-Stars. We'll talk about them with Jenny Kavnar when we come back.
Baseball is back. The Rockies ready for the second half, and so is Nolan Arenado. What a first half he had, hitting .301, 17 home runs. Oh, he leads Major League Baseball with 70 RBI. No wonder the fans voted him in to the All-Star game to be the starter at third base for the National League. And then he impressed on offense as well. Nolan hit a single off Chris Sale, but not one, but two total hits on the day. That's the most a Rocky has ever had at the All-Star game. Well, the Rockies also sent a high of 4 players to go to Miami representing the Rockies and the National League. DJ LeMahieu did not play as he's still getting over that groin injury. Greg Holland, he had a clean inning of baseball with 2 strikeouts. That's the most a Rocky has ever had. And let's not forget Charlie Blackmon, not only leading off at the All-Star game, but having fun at the Home Run Derby with 14 home runs. I talked to Charlie and Nolan today about their experience.
I enjoyed it, maybe a little more this time, just because I could slow down and appreciate it a little more without feeling like I had to do all of everything. I kind of did what I wanted to do, and that was go there and have a good time with my family.
It was just fun to pick brains and see what their routines were, and just talk about baseball. But it was cool that everyone kind of lowered their guard a little bit. They were friendly and talking. Some of those guys don't talk to you at all when you play against them, so it was a lot of fun.
Well, just like any good baseball rat that Nolan Arenado is, he picked everyone's brain. He was caught with just about every player asking about their routine. He even asked Clayton Kershaw how he pitches to him, so I'm sure there weren't many secrets exchanged there. The Rockies, they're getting set to kick off the second half against the Mets here at Citi Field. But can the Rockies offense get going? That's the big question as they begin in New York. We'll have first pitch coming up next on your home for the Rockies, AT&T Sportsnet.
Gathered for the second half of the season. 3 ball games between the Rockies and Mets, and an interesting twist in the schedule. The Rockies will return home for a homestand immediately after this. So it's just a little 3-game sojourn to New York, and that man is very talented. That, of course, Jacob DeGrom. He is the ace of this Mets staff. Southwest batting order for the Rockies will feature Charlie Blackmon up top at .319. He has 20 home runs, and he's driven in 61. LeMahieu at .307, Nolan, all-stars above 300 as well. Gerardo Parra at .335, and he's always hit well here at Citi Field. Then it's Mark Reynolds, Cargo, Pat Valaika getting to start again at shortstop, Ryan Hannigan behind the plate catching John Gray. So Jacob DeGrom In his last 5 starts, they have been all victories, and he's pitched at least 7 innings in all 5. He's been in a really good place. And the first pitch from the Floridian is in there for strike 1 at 94. He is, just like John Gray, Spilly, one of the hardest throwers among starting pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, he started average fastball velocity at 95 miles an hour, 4-pitch mix. But what's been strange for DeGrom throughout this season, has his highest strikeout rate of his career, but has also given up 18 home runs.
That is a big number. In fact, he won his last game against St. Louis, but gave up 4 home runs. The good news for DeGrom, in addition to the win, the reason he won is all 4 were solo home runs. And twice in that game, they were back-to-back.
Still talking about a pitcher with swing and miss stuff. 5th most swing and misses in baseball. Chris Sale leads the league, but DeGrom's right up there with him.
The 2-1, and his line to center field's got to get down, and it will. Michael Conforto will take it on a hop, and that's a nice beginning to the second half for All-Star Charlie Blackmon, who gets a slap on the hand from Tony Diaz at first. Here's a little bit more on Jacob DeGrom. 9-3, and the ERA wouldn't sit in the mid-3s if not for 2 starts. He had 2 horrendous starts, one against Milwaukee, one on the road in Arlington against Texas. You take even part of those away, and you're talking about a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah, you're looking at a sub-3 ERA, and probably more in line with what DeGrom is accustomed to. Fastball velocity, it's big. It's 95 miles an hour, but his secondary pitch is a slider. This is what he looks to get the strikeouts.
Big opening on the right side, and that is fouled off on a bunt attempt. And if you're surprised by that, don't be. You're talking about Jacob DeGrom, and we are as well, a guy that does not give up a lot of runs. And therefore, if you play for 1 run early, especially with John Gray on the hill, it's not a bad strategy. Mets are a double play depth. They don't have great range at all in that infield. Pretty big opening, significant opening on the right side where DJ produces so many hits. Charlie's a guy that has in his past stolen as many as 43 bags in a season. He comes into the second half with 8 stolen bases in 14 attempts. So the number is way down, but he doesn't look to go as much. Been doing a lot of jogging around the bases also. DJ was the only Rocky that did not get into the All-Star game, and that was by plan pretty much, because DJ was nursing that sore groin, and I talked to him this afternoon in the clubhouse. He's not 100% by any means, but he's much better. If you recall, over the weekend, DJ with the lead was taken out after 6-7 innings by Buddy Black, and Amarista would play defense the last couple of innings as the Rockies took 2 of 3 from the White Sox.
Especially going into All-Star break, you wanted to make sure you protected DJ. And there's really it wasn't necessary for DJ to get into the All-Star game. It's an exhibition game. It's nice for him to be there. He enjoyed it. Him and his wife Jordan had a fantastic time. But to put himself at risk makes no sense when the Rockies are looking to do damage in the second half.
And this is bounced back to DeGrom, and his feed is a good one to second, but Jose Reyes did not even attempt to throw to first. So LeMahieu trades places with Blackmon. There's 1 out, and that'll bring up All-Star Nolan Arenado. You notice that our bug, which you get so much information out of, that's what we call it in the business, the bug, is now in the lower right-hand corner. So if you're looking up in the left-hand corner, it's not there anymore. But you'll get pitch speed, traffic on base, and how many outs there are, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, in that lower right-hand corner.
Looks great. Well, before today's game, Sandy Alderson was talking about the state of the union with the Mets and was mentioning that this has not been the Mets' best season. 29th in baseball in ERA, and defensively not very good. And I think that last play where DeGrom gets a ball hit back to him and not making the attempt to turn the double play is proof again that this Mets team is missing out on opportunities to get those outs.
1-0 on Nolan. He threw out a couple of hits in the All-Star game. First Rocky to ever have multiple hits in an All-Star game. Fastball in the outside corner. You can see on the Subaru strike zone. that it was indeed a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Home plate umpire is Mike Everett. And a good take. 2-1. The Mets overall are 39-47. They're in 4th place in the National League East. Many thought they would compete with Washington for supremacy in the East, and I saw the Mets as a pick in some publications to go to the World Series. They've had a lot of injuries, and their pitching staff, other than DeGrom, has not been good, even when healthy.
Missing Noah Syndergaard, who put on 18 pounds this offseason, tears a lat. Matt Harvey coming back from thoracic outlet.
There's Syndergaard.
Syndergaard and Harvey are getting closer to throwing.
2-2. And this is bounced off the plate. This is going to be a tough play, and no play, and it gets past Duda. Arenado went down. LeMahieu goes to 3rd. So we talked about their shaky defense. They didn't even catch that ball. A little return throw to the infield from Duda to Asdrubal Cabrera. It's going to be an infield hit, but there'll be an error attached because LeMahieu went 2nd and 3rd. Now let's check on Nolan, make sure he's okay. He went down hard when he turned on a slick field. The tarp was on all afternoon. It rained a fair amount. I just hope this isn't any kind of muscle pull.
DeGrom played shortstop in college, and I thought if anybody can make this play off the mound, it could be Jacob DeGrom. Notice how the throw pulls him up.
That's because of the wet field. You see how he wiped out? That has everything to do with the turf being slick, despite the fact that the tarp was down. Buddy Black and Scotty Garrett will head back to the Rockies dugout, and we'll keep a close eye on Nolan. 1st and 3rd now, with just 1 out.
Trying to pay attention to see what part of his body hurt besides landing on his hip.
Gerardo Parra batting cleanup today. Kind of a different looking lineup to begin the 2nd half. Reynolds batting 5th, Cargo batting 6th. You noticed that Valleca was in the lineup along with Ryan Hannigan. In his career, Gerardo Parra has hit .347 at Citi Field. He's very comfortable here. And he's ahead in the count 2-0. Gerardo's been great in these situations this year. This is one of those deals where at the end of his at bat, he wants to make sure it's at the very least 1-0. Outfield straight up. 2-0 and a good swing.
DeGrom has a 4-pitch mix, but his main strikeout pitch is his fastball. Gets 60% of his strikeouts via the fastball. His next best secondary pitch is the slider.
Well, you mentioned it. He gets a really high rate, one of the best rates in baseball of swings and misses on his fastball. 2-on Gerardo. And he may have chased there, and that's probably either why he was upset or that he didn't get that ball in the air. Which do you think it was?
That he chased a bad pitch. DeGrom is known for getting people to go outside of the strike zone above the belt.
Is that the hardest pitch, Philly, to stay off of a fastball up?
Yes, because it's the shortest path for your bat. It's the closest to your eye level, so it looks the best, but it's the hardest to get on top of.
2-2 again, 1st and 3rd. 1 out just underway at Citi Field. matter how many times you come to the plate, there's never a time there aren't some butterflies cooking in the stomach. Scoring position 476 this year for Parra. Darno goes to the outside corner once again. And a good take, 3-2. Kept an eye on Nolan over there. How's he moving around?
He's hopping okay, but it does look like he's
compromised.
Yes, slightly.
Talking to Lucas Duda. 3-2 on Parra. Base hit through the right side. Gerardo Parra gives the Rockies a 1-0 lead to begin the second half here in New York. Boy, that's a good at bat. We've said that a few times this year, huh?
Parra has changed the dynamic of the Rockies offense. Once he's back on the team, he just gives stability. He gives you the quality at bat. He's not a normal four-hole hitter, but the way he's taking his at-bats with guys in scoring position makes him a cleanup hitter. You're looking for quality at-bats. You're looking for guys that understand what the pitcher's trying to do, and DeGrom is trying to go fastball. Another great at-bat for Gerardo, and in a very important situation. You always want to see the Rockies score first.
Here's Mark Reynolds, 6 for 23 on the homestand before the break, and he takes ball 1. Mark, throughout the 6 hits, he did strike out 11 times. The strikeouts up a little bit over the last few weeks. So I'm sure the break came, as it does for every player. It's pretty clear. It came at the right time for Mark. Get off your feet for a few days. That's a strike, 1-1. Reynolds has hit 6 home runs in his career at Citi Field. DeGrom has already thrown 22 pitches.
To me, it goes back to the double play ball hit by DJ. There wasn't even an attempt, and with DJ, with the injury, I mean, there was a chance to throw him out at first.
1-2. I was surprised by that.
I was too. I didn't understand why not even make the attempt to finish off the play. It's not like there was a runner at third that was going to maybe sneak and score a run. There's nobody on base other than Charlie, and he just got him out on force out.
Mark 0 for 12 lifetime against DeGrom, trying to change those numbers a bit. And that is strike 3. He painted the outside corner. 2 outs. That'll bring up Cargo. We'll check the defenders for the Mets. And they are not a good defensive team. And it's not just the fielding percentage. It more has to do with the range. Reyes is not the guy he used to be. Cabrera has very little range. Duda has a hip injury and doesn't have great range to begin with. Rivera's had some throwing issues in the infield. TJ Rivera. Cespedes is playing with a bad hamstring. Their best defender is Michael Conforto if he's playing on a corner, not necessarily in center field. Jay Bruce has been adequate in right, and Travis d'Arnaud's been okay behind the plate, but defense has been an issue. So here comes Cargo. Rockies up 1-0 on the Parra base hit. Ball 1. Maybe more than any Rocky, he needed the 4 days to rest the mind.
Went to Florida, just spent time with his family at his house, relaxed, checked out. You're right. When you go home, you have a break. 4 days is a long time. For baseball fans that didn't, after the All-Star game, Wednesday and Thursday felt like an eternity.
Cargo bounces this to second, and Cabrera will throw him out. The Rockies come up with a run on 3 hits in the first inning. Parra, a 3-2 base hit to right. Lead. Now they'll send John Gray to the mound to protect that lead. And John making his third start since the broken foot kept him idle for a couple of months, looking for his third personal victory of the year.
You look at his last start, 5 2/3 innings against the Cincinnati Reds, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. That's coming off a great, fantastic start, coming off the disabled list against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he struck out 10. He will continue to use the fastball and slider as his 2 main pitches, but will occasionally sprinkle in the curveball. And we saw a couple strikeouts in his last start using the changeup.
Leading things off will be Michael Conforto. He was their all-star. This guy's got a great swing. They always knew he had a good-looking swing out of the Pac-12 conference. And here's the first pitch of the night from John Gray against Conforto, and it's swung on and fouled off. Conforto is one of the guys the Mets offensively really want to build around. Good athlete. He's hit 14 home runs this year. And Big John's second offering just inside, so it's a ball and a strike. Gray averaging just under 96 miles an hour on his fastball, though he hasn't thrown as many innings as guys like Garrett Cole and Steven Strasburg. He's the 3rd hardest throwing starting pitcher in baseball. And a good curveball there, and it's 1-2.
John will continue to mix his fastball and slider. The slider is the pitch he wants to get out, get lefties out with. What makes Conforto unique when you're looking at the numbers, talking about a young player with an on-base percentage over 400.
They want to go in, and that was a slider on the back foot. Conforto kept his at bat alive, but it cost him an outie.
The slider down and in. It's a strikeout pitch. Conforto able to foul it off. What'd you say, an owie?
Owie. You have young kids.
Rub some dirt on it.
There you go. Is that what you tell your kids?
Yeah.
One-two, great pitch. Beautiful pitch at 97. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. All over the Subaru strike zone.
Hannigan was so good in the start on Sunday with Kyle Freeland pitching. He's just been working so well with the Rockies pitchers, setting up with the sequences, framing the pitches, giving good optics for home plate umpire Mike Everett to see. More importantly, when you're watching a veteran catcher, notice how he changes the angles with his shoulder depending on what side of the plate he is. Just creates the illusion that he's catching strikes, even though it could be off the plate.
Billy early returns. He has his curveball, he has his slider, and he's got the nice giddy up on the fastball. Hannigan wanted another curveball. That misses. 1 ball, 1 strike on Asdrubal Cabrera. The 31-year-old native of Puerto La Cruz in Venezuela. And again, the 1-1 pitch swings to 1-2 as it did on Conforto.
Cabrera hitting .250 on the season. He is a switch hitter.
And he has pop. A year ago in a Mets uniform, his first season in New York, he had 23 home runs. The one thing about this Mets team, they have hit a lot of home runs, 129 of them, which is an all-time Mets record in the first half. Don't hit for a high average, but they can hit the long ball, which is somewhat surprising given how this park is played since it opened several years ago.
I think it's changed because of how much they've moved the fences in. Left center, down the line. Left field has been brought in
a bunch.
At least 15 feet.
You played here when it first opened. It was tough to hit it out of here in BP, right?
Yeah, it was. This place played like the Grand Canyon.
2-2 on Cabrera. And this ball's lined to center field, but it's gloved out there by Charlie Blackmon. 2 gone. That'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for New York this evening. Terry Collins will have Jay Bruce batting cleanup. Bruce has 23 home runs. TJ Rivera is a pretty good hitter. Got a good story we'll tell you about a little later on. Lucas Duda, Jose Reyes. Jose not hitting for much average. He does have 8 home runs. And then Travis d'Arnaud will bat 8th in front of DeGrom. Cespedes has played in only 42 games this year. He's battled a hamstring injury. He is still a dangerous guy. And a slider for strike 1.
There's very few hitters in baseball that I feel if you take them out of the lineup that the team is no longer the same team. You put Yoenis Cespedes back in the Mets lineup, it's a dangerous lineup.
Fouls off the heater at 97, and now the count considerably favors John Gray. 0-2.
But even with Cespedes in the lineup, the Mets record in those 52 games, 17-22, 54 games, 53.
This is up the middle for a base hit. Cespedes got on top of that fastball. You meant to say 42 games.
Yeah, then you start giving me hand signals, and then I'm losing my mind.
Take a look at the Rockies defense, the antithesis of the Mets defense. They've been extraordinarily good. Valleca forming the double play combination tonight with LeMahieu, Parra, Blackmon, and Gonzalez in the outfield. Nolan at third, Mark Reynolds at first, and Ryan Hannigan to take such immense pride in his handling of that night's pitcher. The former Red has the gear on tonight. Bruce is hot. He has 23 home runs, tied for 4th in the National League. He's hit a home run in 3 out of his last 4 ball games. He along with Conforto, probably the only 2 Mets where you say, okay, they're having the kind of year we hoped they'd have, if you're Sandy Alderson or Terry Collins. Bruce, so many good years with the Reds. And a changeup. No, it's a fastball. That changeup movement. 2-0. He pitched just north of the Subaru strike zone. Mets lost their final 2 ball games before the break. They've lost 5 of their last 6. And now it's 3-0. It's TJ Rivera. The big lefty who doesn't run particularly well. LeMahieu's 15-20 feet out on the grass. And that's a 4-pitch walk. So John Gray got 2 quick outs, and he gives up the 0-2 base hit. And now he loses Bruce on 4 pitches. This guy coming up has an 8-game hitting streak. Good line drive hitter. He's a local kid somewhat. He's from the Bronx. He went to Wallace Community College in Alabama, and if that name rings familiar, it should. Craig Kimball was drafted out of Wallace Community College. He wasn't drafted out of Wallace. He went on to Troy University. Wasn't drafted after his junior year. Hit .295. Wasn't drafted after his senior year. He signed as a street free agent by the Mets. He's worked his way to the big leagues by hitting line drives, and that pitch is off the plate. He's hit better than 300 virtually every stop along his route through the minor leagues. Now Ryan Hannigan, after 5 straight out of the zone, is going to go out. Rockies got a run in the first against DeGrom. 2 on and 2 outs for the Mets here in the bottom of the first. And that is cued to first on a slider, and that'll end the mild threat by New York. So we'll go to the second inning. The Rockies up 1-0 at Citi Field. We'll lead things off in inning number 2. That takes us to our Mako big hit from Sunday. In the near no-no, Pat Valaika assisted greatly in the Rockies winning 10-0. He hit a 3-run home run in the 6th inning. He also had an RBI single, an RBI ground out, a career best 5 ribbies for Pat Valaika. Fastball on the outside corner by Jacob DeGrom. So I guess the rule will continue to apply for Buddy Black. If you hit a home run, you get a start the next day.
We'll see. My gut feeling is telling me that we're going to see Valaika play for an extended period of time.
Because of the struggles of Trevor Story?
Just because of the struggles and because of the quality of bat that Valaika has been.
Back up the middle, and that is an easy play for DeGrom. That'll bring up Ryan Hannigan. Well, it's been that kind of year for the Mets. Beautiful sign. A lot of hard work went into that. It's great artistic value. And a little helping hand.
Hold on, it's upside down.
I'm still true to the orange and blue, even if I'm holding the sign upside down.
We'll laugh with you.
Absolutely.
Not at you. It's great.
1-0, and that is on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, all afternoon, went out to the nearby art store to make sure that she had the exact right colors, the royal blue, the correct orange. Well, he got a slider to hit there, and Hannigan just missed it, fouled it back. And you get to the ballpark excited about getting it on television early. She had it upside down for 30 seconds.
Got it on television.
She got it on television. Maybe more likely that she got it on television than if she had it right side up, right? Hannigan swings through a fastball, and there are 2 outs with John Gray coming up. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Hope you did last Monday after the Rockies finished the first half in style. The near no-hitter by Kyle Freeland, 8 1/3 before Melky Cabrera broke it up. A 10-0 victory for the Rockies. John Gray in his last start hit what was a short-lived, but it was still in the books for a little bit as the longest home run by a Rockies player this year, 467 feet. This was mashed until a few days later Charlie Blackmon hit one 477 feet.
I just like the finish.
That's a pretty good swing right there on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So John's behind 0-2. This is one of those interesting matchups tonight in that both pitchers have hit a home run this year. DeGrom's got one. And that's a strike. That'll end the inning. The Rockies go quietly into second. Middle of 2 at Citi Field in Flushing Meadows. The Rockies leading the Mets 1-0.
Head to the bottom of the second here at Citi Field in Flushing, New York. Well, of course, the Rockies are coming off the All-Star game where they sent 4 Rockies to represent them, but there was a 5th Rocky being represented. Pretty cool when it came time for Stand Up for Cancer. A couple of the Rockies wrote in Chad Bettis' name as their teammate that they stand up for. The Rockies tweeting out #TogetherForBettis. Of course, Chad Bettis felt the love and responded how much he loved his teammates and loved watching them, and we loved watching Chad Bettis yesterday. He's in a rehab assignment with AA Hartford. They're at Trenton right now, just a train ride away from here, and last night 2 innings for him, 31 pitches, 19 for strikes. He had 3 strikeouts and just 1 unearned run. So the plan for Bettis to continue on that rehab assignment with AA Hartford. They'll return home, and it looks like he'll be slated to pitch probably Tuesday, guys. Probably increase that pitch limit up to 45. So love the progress for Chad. I know he loves getting out into live action, and Buddy Black said all reports very good. So great signs for Chad Bettis as he continues to make his comeback.
Yeah, great start. 2 innings, no hits. This ball's lobbed to shallow left center, and it's going to drop. So Lucas Duda with a base hit to begin the second inning. Give you a couple other tidbits of news and good news. Antonio Sensatella pitched last night with AAA Albuquerque. Rockies just wanted to lengthen him out again. He'd been in the bullpen the last couple of weeks, so he went 3 1/3, allowed a run on 4 hits. Solid stuff. And David Dahl, who's played a couple games now with Lancaster, And he hit a home run last night as the DH. He's 3 for 7 so far. He has not played a game, as you're well aware, this year, but he's on the road to recovery, finally playing games. That pitch is up in the zone to Jose Reyes. Reyes, briefly a Rocky after the Tulowitzki trade, came from Toronto. And that is lined into the right field corner, and Cargo's going to have to pluck it out of there. Duda is going to get a stop sign on a double by Jose Reyes. 2 in scoring position, nobody out here in the Mets second.
The last 2 hits for John Gray are because the fastball has been up. That's a belt high, might have even been a changeup. Right into Jose Reyes' barrel. Cargo does a good job fishing this ball out of the corner to prevent Lucas Duda from scoring from first.
They're in the part of the lineup where if you can get a strikeout, John has that ability. You may have a chance to get out of this thing. Darno batting 8th. Batting just .223. And that's a strike, and that's a better location. You know, John this year has thrown his fastball down in the zone at a higher rate than he did last season, which is what you obviously want to see. Doesn't matter if you throw 95 to 98. Go up by design, but work down. Hannigan almost comes off the plate, and that's fouled off a slider. It's 0-2.
Well, not only does throwing down in the zone get you more strikes, it gets you more swing and misses, because now it sets up your slider. You can throw the slider off the same plane, and it's a wipeout pitch. If you're throwing fastball belt high, most guys, because you'll see the slider up, that's still a hittable pitch.
You think this is that slider away count.
And because, to your point, with him throwing the ball down, he's also seen an increase in his ground ball rate.
Showed fastball at 98, 1-2.
Well, when you're throwing the baseball down in the zone, it's obvious ground ball percentage will go up. And this is all due to mechanics. When John Gray's able to repeat his mechanics, get on top of the baseball, and really drive the baseball down into that lower quadrant, you get a lot of missed hits.
And he missed again with a fastball. It's 2-2. Duda bloop single, and then a sharp double to right by Reyes. He got it in play, and this will get the run home as Arenado is moving pretty well. That's a great sign there. It's a terrific play by Nolan. He gets the out. But because Darno was able to get that in play, it's now a 1-1 baseball game. Good pitch.
Good pitch. He just puts the ball in play. That's why it's always so important to just try to make contact. We've seen this play a million times, and it never gets old. This is a slick field. Grass is a bit wet. For him to make these plays on a day in, day out basis.
But again, whatever he did to his hip, you didn't see it there.
You didn't see it one bit. Nope.
Here's DeGrom, not a slouch with the bat.
No, he's good. 263 with the batting average.
And this is a kid that came to pitching late. He went to Stetson University as a scholarship shortstop. Did not throw off the mound at Stetson until his junior year.
The last time he got a haircut.
It works for him. And now John falls behind 2-0 on DeGrom. At third base is Reyes. Infield is in a 1-1 game. Loop to center. Blackman coming. It's going to drop, and now the Mets take a 2-1 lead. DeGrom with his 4th RBI of the year.
Charlie hesitated a bit in center field, but still this ball was going to land fair and right in front of him. Again, elevated fastball about belt high. There's nothing Charlie could do to catch it or make an attempt.
That'll bring up Conforto. Conforto struck out looking his first time. And again, that fastball's a strike. John's had trouble working down in the zone. I don't know if that was a bluff or who he'd be bluffing because there's no runner on second, but Hannigan, I think, wanted that pitch up. And that was a pitch that you like at the knees. Either way, it's a 2-strike count on Conforto. Sometimes catchers will use glove movement, hopefully, in their mind that the hitter senses that you want to go a certain place and it may be a bluff. Did you ever notice that?
There's always time. It's really hard to tell sometimes. I mean, we pay attention to everything. Sometimes people do a little bit too much, thinking that guys are paying attention to that. But if you're loud behind the plate, a hitter can hear you moving.
1-2, and that slider's left up, and that's a base hit. That slider didn't have the typical bite on it. John has given up 4 hits in the inning. Now you get to the sticky part of that lineup.
2-strike hit to Duda. Now a 2-strike hit to Conforto. That ball is just middle, sitting right there for him to hit. He's not getting the finish. That's all it comes down to. And Hannigan and Steve Foster are going to come out and remind John to get on top of the baseball and drive it down.
Join in on the conversation tonight and every night. Send us your thoughts, questions. Use Twitter or Instagram. Include the hashtag #ToyotaTalk. 2 on, 1 out, 2 runs in for the Mets. They've taken a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the second, and this will be Asdrubal Cabrera who hit the ball on the line to center fielder Charlie Blackman in the first inning. He's played with Tampa, Washington, and Cleveland in his career. One 1-0 on Cabrera. DeGrom at second. Conforto at first. A little more work here in the second than Gray had bargained on. Get a ground ball here. Cabrera candidate for a double play. It's knocked down in front of the plate by Ryan Hannigan, 2-1. Ground ball to second. See if they could twist one. There's the return throw from Valleca. A 4-6-3 ends the inning. There were 4 hits and a couple of runs for the Mets in the second. They lead 2-1 going to the third. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, by the Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun, and by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. 2-1, the Mets leading. With Ryan Spilborghs and Jenny Kavner, I'm Drew Goodman. Glad you're along tonight on AT&T Sportsnet, our debut voyage, and all new graphics package that I really think you're going to enjoy. Charlie Blackmon had a base hit to lead off the ball game. Rockies would get their run in the first. DJ grounded into a force out. Then Nolan had an infield hit, and Gerardo Parra sharp single to right to drive in the Rockies run. 2-1, the Rockies down, as it'll be Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Nolan here in the third against Jacob DeGrom out of Stetson University. Ball one on Charlie. Oh, excuse me, strike one on Charlie. Mike Everett working the plate. Chris Siegel at first, Jordan Baker at second, Bruce Dreckman is at third. And that's a good pitch also.
It's a big double play that the Rockies just turned. You look at it, just based on where the pitches were, Yoenis Cespedes coming up.
Yeah, you don't want to get too far behind with a guy like DeGrom on the mound. There's that good fastball. He's got 4 strikeouts. And I'll bring up LeMahieu. DeGrom is the only Mets starter that has not been on the disabled list this year. I go back a couple of years ago when the Mets, desperately needed a bat, and ultimately they got Cespedes, the playoff run. And everybody who called upon the Mets wanted somebody from that young rotation naturally. Even Wheeler, who was at the time hurt, And Sandy Alderson dug in. He said, we're not trading any of our young pitchers. And I've said this before, one of the great truisms in life is death taxes and pitchers get hurt. And now look at the Mets in that vaunted rotation. This is the only guy standing right now. And the Mets are 8 games below 500. DJ didn't like that call by Everett. That strike may have been stolen by Travis d'Arnaud, though it's pretty close there on the Subaru strike zone.
You always tell when DJ's barking at an umpire, he understands he's 6'4". Well received by d'Arnaud at the bottom of the zone.
And there's the fastball up. He said it earlier. As opposed to, a slider or a curveball, when DeGrom gets ahead, oftentimes it's the fastball inducing swings and misses.
And as a hitter, if you know that he's never coming off the fastball, it opens up the slider. But as we watch DeGrom will throw down in the zone to get the early strikes and then looks to punch you out with the high fastball.
That's a line shot, but it's right at Cabrera. And now that's 8 in a row retired by Jacob DeGrom. 2-1 Mets.
Rockies down 2-1. We head into the bottom of the third. Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB.com at Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more.
So John Gray looking for a quick and efficient third inning after he gave up 2 runs on 4 hits in the second. Bottom of the third, 2-1 New York. Yoenis Cespedes, Jay Bruce, T.J. Rivera in the Mets third. And that fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Cespedes a year ago in his first full season with the Mets hit .280 with 31 home runs. Powerfully built, 5'10", about 225, and that's just off the outside corner. 1-1. He's played in the postseason 4 of his 5 seasons in the big leagues. That's pretty good, huh?
Good player. Takes an aggressive swing. Even with 2 strikes, he will not
cut down his swing at all. And for some guys, if you have good hand-eye coordination, just take your A swing all the time, it makes a lot of sense.
And this is punched to right, and that's going to be a base hit. Cespedes trying to stretch on Cargo's arm, and he will. For a guy who's had hamstring issues this year, he ran pretty well on that particular sequence. So a leadoff double by Cespedes on a pitch that was pretty good.
But it's up. Slider away from Cespedes, well off the plate. So you're looking at location. The location's right, it's off the plate, but it's up. And sometimes hitters will just beat a good pitch. Out of the box because of where he hits it. His body's leaning out towards first base. Gets out of the box quickly. He's able to pick it up. That's his own read. There's no base coach telling him what to do.
Jay Bruce walked on 4 pitches his first time. So Gray spending a lot of time, Spilly, out of the stretch here in the early going. One ball, one strike. Gray's out of, or Bruce is out of Beaumont, Texas. He struggled quite a bit after that trade from Cincinnati last year. Having a good year this season.
Valleca bouncing after, felt like he snuck up on Cespedes, and Gray just didn't turn around to make the throw.
And the changeup's down, 2-1. John trying to find that sharpness we've seen in the past. Not a lot of margin for error when you're facing a guy like DeGrom. John's got to keep the Rockies close. Now it's 3-1. We've seen an occasional pitch placed where he liked, but the majority have not found Ryan Hannigan's glove where he sets up. Ball ended up on the warning track in right field, so Gray's going to have to wait. Cargo's going to retrieve the baseball and flip it into the stands. Hopefully that guy's okay.
Not so much.
3-2. And this is shallow left, and Parra's going to have to field it on a hop. So a bloop single by Conforto after the excuse me double by Cespedes, and more trouble for Gray. First and third, nobody out in the third. He's not missing bats.
He's not missing bats, but he's also a lot of hard contact off of Gray. This ball beats Jay Bruce. Parra is just trying to get to the baseball and see if he can make a play. There's no play to be made. Traffic on the corners.
One strikeout so far for Gray, and that was Michael Conforto, who was the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the first inning. TJ Rivera hit a little cue shot right at Mark Reynolds, his first time up. And that's toward the gap in right center field, and that is a problem. Around third comes Bruce. He gets a green light. He'll score. It's a 2-run double for Rivera. Now the Rockies are down 4-1.
Well, TJ's a very aggressive hitter. Gets a pitch up in the zone again. Mislocation. Little cut on that. Short swing by TJ. Splits the gap. Jay Bruce from first base, scoring easily.
Double, single, double. The Mets have 8 hits already in 2+ innings against Gray. Lucas Duda takes a curveball that misses. Duda had a base hit his first time. A bloop single, but your pitching coaches say this. You stated it, that even if you make a decent pitch when it's up as opposed to being on the ground, it becomes a flare that has a greater chance of dropping. Yeah, that's nowhere near the strike zone, and Hannigan will have to go out again. 2-0.
It's release point for John. He's trying to get it, and talking to any pitching coach, talking to any pitcher, they'll tell you it's a feel. And it's not like a release point is feet. You're missing your release point, and you're not able to get your arm slot by feet. We're talking inches, and then sometimes we're talking centimeters as far as getting on top of a baseball, making sure you're finding that release point. And for John right now, there is no feel. He has no feel for his pitches.
Good breaking ball there on a 2-0 delivery, so it's 2-1 on the former Southern Cal star Lucas Duda. And he fires low, 3-1. Three and two.
Let's look at the Subaru strike zone. There's no pattern. Just like throwing something against the wall and seeing where it sticks. There's just no pattern to any of the locations.
And he loses another hitter. Duda walks. And that'll bring up Jose Reyes, who doubled. And Foster once again. John's last start was 9 days ago. What pitchers will do during the All-Star break, I was talking to Adam Ottavino about this, they'll find somebody to throw with, or bullpen if necessary. For starter, you know, Gray had to find somebody to throw with. There was a workout yesterday at around 11 a.m. for the players that stayed in the Rocky Mountain region in Denver. And a couple of hours later, for the guys that had traveled, there was a workout in New York. The only two guys that were cleared from that, 3 guys, Actually, 4 would have been. It's the 3. It's the All-Stars, but DJ LeMahieu, because he didn't play, he wanted to work out. And this is Zach Rosscup. He comes in. He'd be making his Rockies debut. Good pitch again, and so 0-2. Well, the last thing you wanted to see coming out of the All-Star break was a guy up in the Rockies' pen in the 3rd inning. And that's way too good on an 0-2 pitch. A base hit for Reyes. That'll score another run. Here comes Rivera. That is the second 0-2 hit Gray's allowed. He's also allowed a 1-2 hit.
He's not able to put the hitters away.
But look where that pitch is. Center cup.
It's feel for John. He has no feel for his release point, has no feel for what his ball is doing.
Nobody retired here in the 3rd. 4 hits and a walk. This is d'Arnaud, the catcher, had an RBI ground out in the 2nd. And that slider was in the middle of the plate. d'Arnaud checks on his brother in arms, if you will, Ryan Hanigan. This terrible pitch.
Ouch.
Hate to say it, but you know, John is just really struggling in this first start back. Nothing where he wants it to be. Mike Everett checking on Hanigan. Travis's brother Chase, big leaguer. Saw him earlier this year, middle infielder. John needs a ground ball in the worst way. Every pitcher gets challenged as a starter if you go out and make 32, 33 starts a year.
Right.
No matter how gifted you are, even Clayton Kershaw, there's going to be times you don't have either your A stuff or your A command. Part of a young pitcher and their growth is how do you work through those times to still have hopefully a successful outing. You're not going to have the kind of stuff that Kyle Freeland had every time out. Now the Rockies are behind 5-1 against DeGrom in the 3rd. He's also more deliberate than we've seen him.
Well, when someone's trying to find release point or trying to find the mechanics at the plate, they're trying to slow the game down, and that's something probably Steve told him, slow it down, don't rush. It's just big misses. It's not even close.
2-2. Slider's fouled off. That slider again was waist high. Yeah, he just does not have a feel for anything.
It's not a worse feeling in baseball than knowing that there is no feel. You have no feel for what you're trying to do. And for a pitcher,
he probably has, unless something changes dramatically, one more hitter. If he can get a double play ball and get DeGrom, he sticks around. Otherwise, if it gets to Conforto and there's just one out, you'd think Ross Cup will be in the game. That's foul. You're so geeked up thinking about your start, especially when you've had a long period off like John. And wants to get his club off to a great start in the second half, and it's just been a struggle from almost, not quite the first hitter, but just a couple hitters in. And that is ball 4. And now the bases are loaded for DeGrom.
Buddies.
And he may go get him right here. You're right. So John unable to get an out in the 3rd inning, despite the fact that he faced 6 hitters. Double, single, double, walk, single, walk. 5-1 New York, bases loaded, nobody out in the 3rd. TNT Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By UC Health, live extraordinary. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. Well, it was and will be a final ugly line for John Gray. The Mets got 5 runs off him on 9 hits in 2+, and he naturally is responsible for everybody on base. Due to 3rd, Reyes at 2nd, Darno at 1st. Jacob DeGrom coming up, and this is the Rockies debut of Zach Rosscup. He came to the Rockies in the last couple of weeks, a trade for minor leaguer Matt Caracetti, who was with the Rockies late last year briefly. And the first pitch in a Rockies uniform is strike 1 on DeGrom. DeGrom had a single last inning to drive in a run. And now the Rockies bullpen is going to have to absorb, you hope, 7 innings. That would mean the Mets had to bat in the bottom of the 9th. But you're talking about first day of the second half. That bullpen's going to get a lot of work. Two strikes on DeGrom. Rosscup has a good arm and a good slider. His splits throughout his minor league career and when he's pitched in the big leagues against lefties has been outstanding. That's why I'm sure Jeff Bridich and his team was intrigued by Rosscup, a guy who could help the Rockies this year. And he strikes out DeGrom. That's the first out. And now Michael Conforto will come up for the 3rd time already here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That's never good.
Never good. John's feeling it. He's upset. He's trying to think about what went wrong with the start. Maybe thinking about what he did wrong in his preparation during the week, during the 9 days off. If there's something he could have done different. It's part of the learning experience of becoming a major league player and becoming an ace of a team. And you don't want this type of start to begin the second half.
Well, he threw good pitches to Michael Conforto to start his evening, struck him out looking. Conforto, with that swing and a miss, now is a 1-1 count.
My first opportunity to watch Ross Cup, and I like the deception. There's a little hitch in his delivery with his leg kick. Throws a little bit of across the body, short arm swing.
That's just off the plate, 2-1.
There's some velocity behind it as well. 95 miles an hour on that fastball, outer part of the plate.
2.60 ERA in 159 minor league games. He struck out 359 and 293 and 2/3 innings. So, as you've observed, this is a good arm. You don't strike out that many without really good stuff. And there's that slider.
And he has an in with Bud Black. Born and raised in Oregon. Buddy always likes guys from the Northwest.
Buddy grew up in the state of Washington. Here's the 2-2. And Conforto didn't reach for it. 3-2. One appearance for the Cubs this year for Zach Rosscup. 2/3 of an inning. Scoreless on May the 22nd. Here's the 3-2 on Conforto. And that's fouled off. I always say the most difficult thing for starting pitchers when you have a poor outing, it just sits, festers inside your gut for 5 days. Can't do anything about it. And a bouncing ball middle of the diamond, and the Rockies will get just one. Another run scores. Conforto with his 42nd RBI. It's 6-1 New York.
Good boy, dude. Get him back. You better walk twice.
Ninth man to hit here in the third is the switch hitting middle infielder is Drupal Cabrera. Lined out and grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. That got John Gray out of some traffic in the second after he'd given up 2 runs.
Cabrera better hitter from the right side than he is from the left side this season. .310 batting average versus lefties. He's hitting .229 against right-handers.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Back up the middle and on through a base hit, and that'll bring 2 more runs home. Reyes and Darno score. And that'll close the book on John Gray. And he never wants to read another chapter from that book. 2+ innings, 8 runs.
Fastball right down the middle. Cabrera, as I mentioned, better hitter from the right side than left. Short swing, he kicks off the bag and shoots over DJ. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't hit that bag, DJ might have been able to keep d'Arnaud from scoring from second.
Here's Cespedes, and he takes a strike.
On the Subaru Supermo, ball kicks off right off the bag, and DJ's expecting it down. It goes right over his head.
Way inside, 2-1. '29-year-old Zach Rosscup. And that is ripped to left for a base hit. That'll bring up Jay Bruce. Singled and scored earlier in the inning. 11 hits allowed by the Rockies in 2 2/3. They'd love to push reset right now in the second half.
Fortunately, that's not how this game works.
One strike on Bruce. A walk in that single we talked about. I don't think there's any team in baseball that ever expect to start like this, but especially when you have just reconfigured your rotation to begin the second half. You can handpick who you want to go where, and John embraces that. He wants to be the ace of the staff and expects to pitch like it. Unfortunately, he did not tonight. It's going to make for a long night for Buddy Black in terms of how to use that bullpen by still keeping guys fresh for later in the weekend. What you hope, obviously, is somebody catches fire and then the Rockies catch fire somehow offensively and work their way back into contention in the game. Strikeout of Bruce will end the inning. The Rockies find themselves down 8-1 after 3. Time for the Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. I don't know if you caught this yesterday. Jose Quintana, who the Rockies just saw last weekend, was traded by the White Sox. Doesn't have to buy a new house, though. He goes from the south side to the north side for 4 prospects. The White Sox now have 9 players in the top 100 prospects in baseball. Just never worked in Boston. Pablo Sandoval never got himself in the kind of shape he needed to be. He was designated for assignment today. They're going to eat a lot of money, the Red Sox. Of course, they can afford to more than a lot of teams. And Mike Trout will return tonight for the Angels. Parra takes strike 1 from DeGrom. 8 in a row retired by DeGrom after the Rockies took a 1-0 lead in the first. That seems like eons ago. Rockies had 3 hits in the first against DeGrom, and Parra on a 3-2 pitch, a sharp single to right. Let's give the Rockies a short-lived 1-0 lead. 68 pitches by John Gray. Again, 2+ innings. He allows 8 runs on 9 hits. Struck out 1, walked 3.
Plenty of game left to get some momentum back. We're going against one of the top right-handed starters in baseball.
One and 2. Rockies came into the ball game 26-21 out on the road, and their road ERA at 3.83 is going to take a hit, but it's the second best road ERA they've ever had through the first half of a season. Pendulum the last few years has swung back and forth. There was a little more than a 2-year period where the Mets had won 11 straight against the Rockies, and then last year the Rockies took 6 out of 7 from New York. Good at bat by Parra. He was behind 0-2. He's got it now to 3-2. Gerardo lifts this ball to left field. Cespedes is there, 1 out. Done a good job staying away from Rockies hitters. He's been able to do it to both righties and lefties. Mark Reynolds struck out looking on a fastball in the first inning. 0 for 13 career-wise against Jacob DeGrom. That's a slider in there for a strike.
Well, DeGrom feels a lot more comfortable throwing at Citi Field. Hitters are hitting 196. He's only given up 5 of his 18 homers here.
.46 starts at Citi Field, a 2.06 lifetime ERA.
Pretty good.
That's really good. There's only one guy in the history of baseball. Well, I shouldn't say there's only one, but Actually, there is only one that's had a lower home ERA through his first 46 starts. And interestingly, he also played for the Mets, though he performed at Shea Stadium. Dwight Gooden, Doc Gooden, a 1.82 ERA through his first 46 starts at home in his career.
Wow. First 10,000 fans next Friday, July 21st, will receive an Ian Desmond Rockies t-shirt, courtesy of AT&T Sportsnet.
Cargo takes a strike on the outer edge. That was a changeup at 88. He hit a bouncer to second his first time up. Two strikes. If you're wondering about Ian Desmond, he's very close. He was available today to come off the disabled list. In other words, a 10-day list. He could have come off. He was not activated tonight, but Buddy Black saying he is really, really close. 8-1 New York. TNT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Citi Field has an old Ebbets Field feel to it. Jackie Robinson Rotunda to honor New York's connection with the Brooklyn Dodgers. That's why they have royal blue in their uniform, and the orange represents the Giants, who also moved west. Both those clubs left in the late 50s. 4 years later, the Mets came to be in 1962. First pitch is in there, strike one on T.J. Rivera. He had a two-run double in the third against John Gray.
How'd the Mets do in 1962?
Not very well, Spilly. They were 40 and 120. If they played 162, the odds are they would have been 40 and 122. And this ball's hit a ton to left, and T.J. Rivera has hit it out. That's his fifth home run. He's got a 3 RBI night, and it's now 9-1. You look up ugly in the dictionary, and that's what this game looks like to the Rockies.
Story of the night tonight, mislocation. Mets hitters comfortable. A little slider right in the middle of the plate. That's just a perfect pitch for the hitter to knock it out. Not a big variance in velocity. But to me, it's just location. Throughout the night, there's just been no location. Hannigan's trying to mix in sequences, but if you can't hit your spot, it doesn't matter what the sequences are.
And that pitch is high to Duda, 2-1. Lucas Duda, big Southern California star as a high school player in CIF, and then went on to be a big star at Southern Cal. Best year in the big leagues, 2014, hit 31 home runs. Big man, 6'4", about 260. Pop up to the only guy left on the left side of the diamond. We'll bring up Reyes. Reyes in from the right side, 2 for 2 from the left side, a double and a single, 2 runs scored and an RBI. Reyes, a healthy hack, 1-1. 9 runs, 12 hits in 3 1/3.
Curious how long Bud is planning on using Zach tonight. In the 3 appearances he had with Albuquerque through 3 2/3 of an inning.
Well, my guess is however he can do it, he wants to get him through this inning, and he's due up 3rd next inning. And it's going to be one where Jordan Lyles is going to have to eat up
4.
You hope 4.
That is a challenge after All-Star break. You have these guys and you have to trust them when they go home, that they did some sort of arm maintenance, especially guys coming out of the bullpen.
2-2. I was discussing that very topic with Adam Ottavino. Adam came home to Brooklyn, where he lives in the off season with his wife and baby, and he found and had prearranged it. One of his one of his buddies, who was a former player, not at the big league level, but was a good player and caught, and so he threw to him a couple times, and that's not unusual.
No, I've seen guys during All-Star break play catch with their wives at the pool. I've seen it.
And unfortunately, they came back second half, and their wives had better stuff, and usually led to the beginning of the end, right? Is that what you were going to say?
That's exactly right.
Reyes strikes out. Stacy may be listening, so I'll assess Stacy's abilities, which she'd catch you pretty well. Stacy's a really good athlete.
Stacy's a great athlete, soccer player, but I never had to ask her to play catch. Thank goodness.
She shared with me once that she was mad at you that you never did ask her.
I should have played catch with her?
Yeah, why not? Here's Darno. Just reading an article the other day, and I'm doing a bad job remembering the lady's name, and I should, because she's a very famous softball player. It's not Jenny Finch, but she's pitching in the professional women's fast pitch league, She became the first woman in that league to sign $1 million deal. It's spaced over.
Wow, that's great.
It's spaced over several years. But she throws 77 miles an hour, which is equivalent from their distance. The distance on a women's softball field at around 42 feet, somewhere right in there, 41, 42 feet. It's the equivalent, Spilly, to throwing 108 miles an hour. This is popped up. Reynolds. Whoa. That thing moved late. A tough chance for Mark.
I'm guessing he caught this with his bare hand.
Close. I think you're right.
To 1 lead. Time now for our Coors Light cold hard facts, and we're going to talk about the first half of one Charlie Blackmon. Yes, he's the leadoff hitter. He also has 61 RBI. That's the most RBI at All-Star break all time among leadoff hitters, behind Darren Erstad. He's currently tied with the American League's George Springer out of Houston with 61 as well. Fun fact about Charlie, he became the first player in Major League Baseball to finish the first half with 17 plus doubles, 10 plus triples, and 20 plus home runs. All of that coming again before the All-Star break. So you talk about Charlie and that power at the leadoff spot. It's been very helpful to the Rockies, but they need to find some hits in the bottom of the order right now, guys.
Absolutely, and it'll start with Pat Valaika in the 5th inning, and Valaika hits this ball to Jay Bruce in right. "12 in a row set down by DeGrom after the RBI single by Parra." That'll bring up Ryan Hannigan. Trevor Story is on deck to bat for Ross Cup.
Rockies being very aggressive. Valaika first pitched out. Hannigan wasting no time swinging first pitch. And then he took a long walk around the plate to try to slow it down.
Mike Dunn will be the next pitcher for the Rockies. That fastball's up high. Well, when you're down by a big number, just really, I would assume the philosophy changes. It's not like you're up there saying, well, if I get on base like a 1-run game and make him throw me a strike, that sort of thing. The only way the Rockies get back in it is to barrel up a bunch of baseballs. And a lot of times with a, you know far better than I would, with a guy like this, it's better to try to get him early than late.
Yeah,
late gets really tough, right?
I have no problem with the Rockies hitters swinging first pitch, and I have no problem if they take a good swing on a pitch down the middle. DeGrom has an 8-run lead. He's going to challenge you.
Yep. 1-2.
Those are all center cut. He's coming after you. Might as well swing at it. It's not like DeGrom's going to walk anybody in this situation.
I can't remember the last time we looked at the Subaru strike zone and you had 3 pitches that
right down the middle
to the same hitter that were literally right down the middle. And he gets Hannigan on a high fastball. That is 8 strikeouts for DeGrom. And that'll bring up Trevor Story to pinch hit.
Well, we mentioned at the start of this game 274 swing and misses by Jacob DeGrom this season, 5th most in Major League Baseball. Now you're adding at least 6 more strikeouts with swing and misses, plus all the other ones throughout the game. Just adding on.
Well, the Rockies have 2 guys that have struck out more than 100 times this year. Trevor being one. He's right at 100. Mark Reynolds has struck out 103 times. And swung on and missed. Buddy was saying before the ball game when he was asked about, Valleca starting tonight, Hannigan starting tonight, he said we're going to use our roster. He's all 25 guys. Someone will say, well, it's right after the All-Star break, but clearly Story has struggled. Valleca getting an opportunity. 1-2.
So we're feeling to walk up to the box, look up on the strike zone, and it's 1-2 almost every time you're hitting.
Nine strikeouts for Jacob DeGrom. 9-1 the score. Here's some action from the Futures game last Sunday afternoon. Nice play by Brendan Rodgers, playing second base, but playing shortstop for the Rockies between High A Lancaster and now Double A Hartford. And that's Ryan McMahon, who's tearing up Albuquerque. This is a great catch by McMahon. He's played first, third, a little bit of second also this year. 2 Rockies performing well in the Futures game. The Rockies big league club not performing well tonight. Down 9-1, out hit 12-3. Bottom of the 5th inning. And for the Mets, it'll be 9-1-2. Just 2 goats doing goat things. One a current goat on the left, one a former goat. So Mike Dunn on. He'll face Jacob DeGrom. DeGrom, a run-scoring single in the second, struck out in the third against Zach Rosscup. Rosscup went 2 innings. There are the numbers on Mike Dunn. Trying to find a consistent release point for his slider. The Rockies have pulled Nolan Arenado out of the ball game. And again, that I know he got hurt early in the game when he slipped on the dirt, but we saw him move really nicely to his left to make a defensive play. So I'm assuming, Spilly, until we hear something different, that this has to do with the score and maybe a little bit to the fact that he slipped. Get some treatment on him right now mid-game. So Valaika is at third and Story at short.
Well, and you know that Nolan just got back from Miami. Even though this game is sideways right now, and it is the first game back, you're looking for him to protect him. Nolan with the slip at first, landing hard on his left hip. Got to protect this kid.
And it's high on the pitcher DeGrom. It's 3-2. DeGrom has the distinction. When he was at Stetson, he faced in a college tournament one Chris Sale, and he hit a home run against him.
Take that.
Valaika will have a play, 1 out. Conforto up for the 4th time already. He's 1 for 3. And that first day back to begin the second half, everybody's geeked up, and Rockies had their best first half in team history. 13 games above 500. It's like getting ready to go out to the prom and got your date, your nice tux, everything looks perfect. You coiffed your hair after 45 minutes under the blow dryer and the car won't start.
Do you miss the prom completely in this scenario, or do you just show up really late?
Well, hopefully the Rockies just show up late in this particular evening. Otherwise they say, you know what, the prom will start tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. Start again.
Yep. Two and one on Conforto.
Last year when the Rockies were here, took 3 out of 4, and we enjoyed one of the games because the Mets fans rained down their displeasure with the team.
But they will do that, as you know. This is going to slice out of play. 2-2.
Enjoyed our trip to New York last year. I was able to see Hamilton, big Broadway show.
How did you pull that off? Did we have an off night?
We had an off night. We landed from a day game, and I was able to find tickets online. So I spent a lot of money, and I think I've told you the story. The guy sitting in front of me happened to be 6'7".
Oh, not good. Slider misses. 3-2.
I saw half the show.
The good half?
Yeah, like part of the show I got to watch.
So it basically looked like this, right?
Yeah. I was like, this is great Broadway musical. It's awesome.
3-2, and that misses badly, and that's been one of the issues for Mike. The misses have been pronounced. A 1-out walk to Conforto. That'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera.
All kids through the gates on Wednesday, July 19th, will receive the Hartford signature red fire helmet as part of Junior Fire Marshal Fire Safety Day at Coors Field.
Cabrera, 2-run single in the third. He's 1 for 3. Mets very familiar with Mike Dunn. Dunn a number of years with the Florida Marlins. Now the Miami Marlins. Mike out of Farmington, New Mexico. Two strikes on Cabrera. And a strikeout. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Cespedes, who's 3 for 3.
Cespedes, in the years that he's lived in the United States, has fallen in love with golf, famously and infamously. I mean, you talk about a guy that in the playoffs last year had a hurt hip and was still golfing. But I've also talked to some people that have played golf with Jonas, and they said there's not a better character to golf with. Tees it high, lets it fly. Talking driving a golf ball a good 360 to close to 400 yards. Not straight, but a fun person to be part of your foursome.
Sounds like a hockey player. You seen a hockey player didn't hit the snot out of a golf ball?
It's par 3, 170 yards. Driver, right?
It's got a 60-degree wedge out. Single, double, single tonight for Cespedes. Mike Dunn ahead, 2 strikes. Conforto walked these at first. They're 2 outs in the bottom half of the 5th. Year started great for Mike, 9 straight scoreless appearances. But there are too many pitches again like that never resemble a strike. So from your standpoint, Spilly, as a hitter, I mean, you dismiss it out of hand, right?
It's not even a pitch that sets you up for anything. Immediately, I'd start looking away. I mean, if you can't throw a slider underneath my hands, I get to use the bigger part of the zone.
You got him to chase there to end the inning. 2 strikeouts. A man left at first. We'll go to the 6th. The Mets up 9-1 on the Rockies.
We'll lead things off and wrapping up All-Star game a little bit. Charlie was a participant in the home run derby. He got edged out by Cody Bellinger from the Dodgers. However, Charlie was able to hit 14 home runs, so I asked Nolan Arenado about that experience of watching his teammate.
He came up and everyone was kind of like, all right, Charlie Blackmon's up. And then he started putting on a show and the crowd got a little loud for him, man. He proved a lot of people wrong, man. He proved me wrong. I was nervous for him because, in BP, all he does is go oppo, and I'm like, dude, I don't know about this, man. Like, I don't want to see you go oppo bloopers. I want to see homers. So he was special. He did a great job, Chuck. He looked like he was about to pass out after, too. I had to give him some water and a towel, maybe a massage, but he was fun.
Nolan, always supportive. He did say before, just don't embarrass me, Charlie. Just at least get 10 home runs. So I think Nolan was surprised. Charlie said he was a little surprised too, especially with the timing and the rhythm of it. He wasn't sure how many adjustments he'd have to make. So he was kind of surprised at the ease of hitting home runs. And I think he did a fantastic job, guys.
You know what? He's so studious, Jenny, at everything he does. And he refuses to fail at anything. We watch him take BP every day, and he doesn't sit there and throw bombs, that you ooh and ah over. So the fact that he was in the home run derby, just like Nolan, I think very honestly said, you're wondering how's he going to do. He can hit it out in the game. This ball's well hit to center field and off the center field wall. Charlie's going to have himself a double. He can do that all day long in the game. That's why he's one of the elite players in the sport. But in batting practice, he's methodical about his approach, kind of like Joey Votto. But he did a great job in that home run derby.
Proud of him.
Absolutely.
Throw the red flag on the Cody Bellinger 440-foot home run, though.
Little conspiracy theory?
It's not a conspiracy.
I'm with you.
Just like where Charlie's at, coming right off the break. Base hit first at bat. Double opposite field. You have to appreciate the players that never taken a bat off. And regardless of what the score is, he gives you his best, night in, night out. And I think the fact that Charlie competed in the home run derby, it's one of the few opportunities in baseball for all the fans to see certain players.
Outside on LeMahieu. That double by Blackmon broke a string of 14 in a row retired by DeGrom. Charlie came into this ballgame. This is also vintage Charlie. Came into the game 0 for 11 lifetime against DeGrom. Tonight, 2 for 3. Changeup. 3-1. Haven't seen many 3-1 counts from DeGrom this evening. Pitcher spot now is where Nolan was in the lineup, the third spot, so that's why Tapia is on deck.
Talking to Charlie yesterday in the elevator, asked him how he was doing. He's like, great. Slept until 4 p.m. today.
That's Charlie. I'll tell you, he loves his sleep. And all athletes, especially baseball players, they need their rest. And a walk to DJ, 2 on and nobody out for Tapia.
Other than certain athletes, and maybe some people that work the graveyard shift, how many normal humans are allowed to sleep until 4 p.m.? Not in college.
I'm trying to think. People, as you said, who work the graveyard shift.
Yeah.
Athletes who work at night.
Can you imagine if you
Ryan
slept in?
Spilborghs.
There's no chance my stuff would be blown out all over the lawn, all my clothes and everything.
Everything.
There's no chance.
When was the last time you slept past like
10 o'clock?
10 a.m.? Has it been a long time?
Yeah. Because even after New Year's or any significant night that I'm out late, I get the elbow in the side, wake up with the kids.
As you should. 1-0 on Tapia. I feel guilty if I sleep. I feel guilty if I sleep past. You know, there are times we get back, you know, when the Dodgers give you a night game, you get back at 4 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Still up at 7.
Yeah, I feel like you waste a day otherwise. But you know what I'm really good at? Very few things, but I'm really good, as you know, because you sit next to me a lot of times on the plane.
Oh, you can sleep anywhere.
I can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
Those seats on the plane, that's like king-size bed for me. No tag. They do get the out at first. Second and third, Cabrera tried to tag LeMahieu, could not. You can also see the rest has been good for DJ. I don't know if he slept till 4 yesterday, but DJ is moving better than he did last weekend.
Ends up being about 5 days worth of rest, even with his adventure to Miami for the All-Star game. He's still not running 100%. You can see it. But he's running
better
than he was a week ago.
Here's Gerardo. Parra drove in the Rockies' only run with a sharp single to right in the first. When I have an early morning flight too, I just add that on. So let's say it's a 2-hour flight. I just say, okay, I'll sleep 4 hours and then I'll get up and I'll sleep another 2 on the plane. I just add it, so I have 6 hours of sleep. That's good, right?
I can't sleep on planes, so I can't count that.
And that's going to get a run home. Blackman will move up on the wild pitch or pass ball. That's probably one Darno should have held on to. So the Rockies have their second run. It's 9-2. DJ to third.
Take a look and see who should get credit. And it's probably going to go down a wild pitch. Some mislocation by at least a foot.
It is a wild pitch. And it's the 71st run scored by Blackman. And DJ will tag here. And Cespedes will show off his great arm. It's on line and he is safe. Good slide by DJ.
Terry Collins is going to want to check it out
immediately.
Watching DJ run is evident. You can see he's still not running 100%.
This is as quick as we've seen a manager pop out. Hard to tell if he made contact with DJ. You can't tell there because Darno's body blocked the glove. Let's see this one. Well, I just have to go across the river to Park Avenue to take a look at it. Shouldn't take as long, right?
I don't like saying anything because anytime I say something, it's the opposite.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. We're looking at the front foot, and he got the back foot, and DJ's out. So it turns into a double play. 7-2. Cespedes throws out LeMahieu trying to tag. Rockies did get a run. It's 9-2. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning on the road is brought to you by Lazy Days RV. Love RVing. Tomorrow we're on the air at 4:30 with the pregame show, and then Sunday we're on the air at 10:30 here on AT&T Sportsnet with the pregame show. Jordan Lyles will take over here in the bottom of the 6th. Jay Bruce, TJ Rivera, and Lucas Duda. Jordan will be asked to, unless the Rockies can put together a significant rally, he'll be asked, I'm sure, to try to get these next 3 innings at least for Colorado. Dunn went an inning, no runs, struck out 2, walked 1. That ball cuts inside on Bruce, who's 1 for 2 and a walk. What other impressions did you take away from the All-Star Game festivities down in Miami?
I felt like this year, when you looked at some of the numbers, 38% increase of viewership of fans watching the Home Run Derby. And I also like the fact that when you're watching the game, you had 4 Rockies there, which is fantastic. You had 2 of the starters, Charlie and Nolan, voted by the fans, and it wasn't just the Rocky Mountain voting, it was a national vote. And I thought they did a good job. I like that it wasn't for anything. I like that it wasn't for a home field advantage. That was a huge plus for this All-Star game.
Because I think the guys still played hard. You didn't see goofing around.
No.
That's why it's still the best of the All-Star games for me, in that it's a competition between the hitter and the pitcher. And you could tell, you looked at Chris Sale's focus, you looked at the demeanor of the guy, Max Scherzer. I mean,
he was yelling at the rosin bag. Yeah.
I mean, they're getting after it. And you're seeing starters become sprinters. So, I mean, they're airing it out. This ball sharply hit the third. Valleca's got it. And Rivera's retired. 2 outs. I love it. And as we typically say at different times during the season, it's why the Rockies are 13 games over 500. They've not hit to their capabilities. Their offense has underperformed collectively. There's some guys who've had very good years, clearly. But the reason the Rockies are 13 over 500 is pitching. you get to an all-star game, you have these all-world pitchers, you have these all-world hitters, and almost always it's low scoring and it's about the pitchers. Hitting's hard.
Still had a ton of strikeouts with the best hitters in the world. It's just the game's changed as far as when you're watching the high velocity, the risk reward, the strikeout versus home runs. For example, we're looking at a Jacob DeGrom tonight who has a strikeout per 9 at over 10, but then he's given up more home runs this year than he's ever had in his past.
That's the game now. It's a lot of home runs and a lot of strikeouts.
And that's what we saw in the All-Star game too. Yadier Molina with the home run. It's one with Robinson Cano's home run. And then a whole bunch of punch-outs.
2-1 on Lucas Duda, and that is a base hit. For Duda, that is his second hit of the night, and it's the 13th Mets hit. Reyes, when he was with Toronto and with the Rockies, kept his home in Long Island. He's a guy that, you know, grew up as a Met along with David Wright. For a long time they were the faces of the Mets organization, and he embraced that and made his full-time home out on the island. David Wright, unfortunately for New York, has not played this year, and this is a broken bat roller to DJ. One hit in the inning, a man left. We move to the 7th inning. Rockies down by 7. High-speed challenge. Cast your vote at AT&T Sportsnet RM. When will Tim Tebow make it to the big leagues? And your 4 choices: call up this year, spring training next year, he makes the club out of spring training, or at some point next year he gets a call up, or he will never make it to the big leagues. The reason the Tebow question: he had a walk-off home run yesterday. He's hitting well over 300 for Port St. Lucie, which is their high A team, and we've been told he also had a triple tonight.
12-game hitting streak.
Yeah, it's a 12-game hitting streak with that triple, so he's made a lot of progress. Good for him. He had not played since his junior year of high school. He's a phenomenal athlete. It's still a long road, and for me, I think at some point they bring him to the big leagues. Sandy Alderson admitted that the signing had as much to do with marketing as anything else. This ball is hit into center field by Reynolds. Conforto will make the catch. 1 out.
Sounds like a super fight we're going to see in about a month.
Yes. Carr goes 0 for 2, a ground ball to second and a strikeout.
It takes 1,500 at bats for an organization to look at a player in the minor leagues and have a good gauge to where they feel like they're major league ready. Tim Tebow has 200 at bats right now.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with that. I mean, with Tebow, it's different. And I'm not saying it's different athletically. It's different because he has such a fierce and loyal following. He's a great kid. Not a kid anymore. He's a great young man. And this is a jam shot that'll be grabbed at second. Carr go 0 for 3.
But even if you are making a marketing ploy with a guy like Tim Tebow, to give him an actual fair shake so he's not completely embarrassing at the major league level, he needs to get 1,500 at bats.
What's your take on it? Do you think he'll get?
If he gets 1,500,
no, forget the 1,500 because the 3 questions.
Of course he'll get a call up.
Right.
Yeah. He's already here.
Look at him. Pat Valaika, 0 for 2 so far. Pat takes a strike. This is the first time he's ever played at Citi Field. Patty's hitting 239, but that's fair ball and he's out. But prior to that out, he's slugging over 500. Something a lot of people pay more attention to than average. 9-2 Mets. Time for our Cooney Lexus look back. Well, the Rockies had a good start against Jacob DeGrom, who has not given up much over the last month. Sharp single by Parra brought in DJ LeMahieu, 1-0. Everything looked good. And then the second inning happened. An RBI single by Jacob DeGrom. 2-run second inning, and then the third, it just fell apart. Ray didn't get anybody out in the third. 6 runs came around in the third. Zach Rosscup made his Rockies debut. And he also gave up a home run you just saw there to TJ Rivera. That was in the 4th inning. Jordan Lyles, second inning of work. One ball, one strike on the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. And this is bounce to Valaika. Tough chance, no chance. They'll give him a hit on that. I don't know if he throws him out, even if he fields that.
weird watching anyone else play third base in a Rockies uniform. You just expect certain plays to be made. And even though this is gonna go down as a hit, still kind of expected it to be an out.
Well, that other guy who plays there is in a league of his own.
He really is. I mean, and that's not a knock on Valleca for not making the play. It's a base hit. But we've grown so accustomed to watching plays at third that I was already writing down 5-3.
That's another hit for DeGrom. He's 2 for 4.
Raised his batting average. Came into today's game hitting 263. With that base hit, it's up to 286.
Conforto, 1 for 3 and a walk. He's got an RBI tonight. 2 on, nobody out.
It's a 9th career game for Jacob DeGrom with 2 or more hits.
You know, he always said if you can swing the bat as a starting pitcher, you can hang around a little longer. You can help your own cause.
What kind of hitter was he at Stetson? I know he played shortstop.
He's good enough to play a lot first 2 years. And he was good enough to get a scholarship out of high school, right? To a solid D1 program. Stetson's got a beautiful campus. Good school.
Do they make cowboy hats there?
They do. Stetson's. Conforto hits this to deep left. Look at this thing carry. Wow. I thought that was a fly ball. Turns into a fly ball 3-run homer.
All right, today's game could be over with now. It's home run number 15 for Conforto. 4 RBIs on the night. Gets him to 45, and we said he's some special hitter. He has the ability to go opposite field. He's patient. On base percentage well over 400. Off the bat, I didn't think he had it. You hear the term, hit that with backspin. Ball just sailed out of this field.
It did not have the feel of a home run off the bat. And there's another hit. 4 straight hits. Single, 3-run homer, single by Cabrera. Seems like the 3rd inning revisited.
In 2015, Conforto hit an opposite field home run in the World Series, and another opportunity to watch another opposite field swing from Conforto. Great extension. Watch it swing in slow motion, you understand why the ball carried out.
Well, Jordan Lyle's going to wear this no matter what, in that he knows his job is to save the rest of the bullpen for the coming days. Cespedes, 3 hits and 4 trips to the plate. Josh Edgin, one of 2 lefties for the Mets. Nobody up in the Rockies pen. 12-2. I think after this half inning, Terry Collins is going to flip out a couple of his starters. Rockies had a 1-0 lead, 2 runs in the second. It's 2-1 ball game. You're hoping Valleca is going to get an out, but it would have been a double play. You're hoping that at the time John Gray finds himself after that second inning, so the Rockies are down a run, no big deal. But against John in the third, he didn't retire a batter. The first 6 hitters reached, and he was gone. Again, 2+ innings, 8 runs, 9 hits, 3 walks, a strikeout. And Bruce pulls the off-speed pitch. It's 1-1. Tonight is the start of a 10-game homestand for New York. The Rockies, after 3 here in the Big Apple, will play the Padres for 3 and the Pirates for 3. And then it's on to St. Louis and Washington. We talked about this going into the break. The first 4 teams that the Rockies face post All-Star break are all beneath 500. Not until they get to Washington do they see a team above 500. Obviously Washington, one of the best teams in baseball. And that's blocked by Hannigan. Rockies will have a little bit of revenge also on their mind by the time they get to DC. The Nats took 3 out of 4 against Colorado back in Denver early in the season, and a few of those were in convincing fashion. Two at Cabrera at second. Change up in the dirt, 3-2. Hannigan's had to catch a lot of pitches tonight, and a lot that he didn't catch. What I mean by that is a lot of balls turned out to be hits, never got to the catcher's glove. 17 hits tonight. And another changeup and a good one that strikes Bruce out.
The first 10,000 fans through the gates for the July 17th Rockies versus Padres game will receive a coupon for a Hebrew National Dollar hot dog.
TJ Rivera, 3 RBIs tonight, 2-run double in the third, and a solo home run in the fourth on a breaking ball. Bronx native TJ Rivera.
As I always like to do, try to revisit some history. 1973, Willie Mays' last year was with the New York Mets. He was an All-Star.
For what, the 24th time? It's something like that.
I think they just did it because they were so used to having him show up. Hit .211 that season with 6 home runs and 25 RBIs. He was 42 years old that final season. Do you remember seeing Willie Mays in a Mets uniform?
Absolutely. I'll tell you a story. My dad took me to a Mets game, and we used to go to a few every year, and we had purchased these tickets far in advance before we knew what the game was going to be. And they had, later on in the season when Willie was going to retire, it was Willie Mays Day. So we were here for Willie Mays night. And that's when he said, with his voice echoing, "Willie, it's time to say goodbye to baseball." Yeah, and so I was 10 years old. Remember it well. I want to say in Willie's first game with the Mets, he hit one in the bullpen at Shea Stadium and left for a home run. There's a strikeout. There were some special moments even for a senior citizen by baseball standards. Maybe the greatest player of all time, Willie Mays. 12-2. Of the night, a comparison of the two starters, and unfortunately it's not a desirable comparison for John Gray. He had a tough night. 2+ innings, gave up 8 runs on 9 hits. Jacob DeGrom has been very good, but you'd love to have been in a competitive situation, a tight game, to see if the Rockies could have continued what they did in the first inning against DeGrom when they got a run on 3 hits. By the time the game was 3 innings old, DeGrom had a huge lead. Ryan Hannigan in the 8th inning. DeGrom is still out there. 92 pitches in. Hannigan hits it in the air to Bruce.
Well, some people like to call it All-Star break. I like to call it engagement week for baseball players. David Dahl on July 11th, 2017 proposed to his beautiful girlfriend, now future wife, Jacqueline Davis. So congratulations to David and Jacqueline. Wish you all the best.
Congrats to David. And he hit an engagement bomb yesterday.
Yeah, he hit 2 home runs in one day. Home run with his future wife and home run in a minor league game.
There you go. Here's Story's second at bat. Pinch hit in the 5th inning. Stayed in the game at shortstop. Arenado came out. Crowd's been announced, 27,582. A big swing and a foul ball. What you'd like to see, Spilly, in the second half, clearly, is the 3 most prominent Rockies who struggled in the first half flip the tables in the second half. Trevor Story, Carlos Gonzalez most notably. Ian Desmond hit for a decent average, but Ian will tell you from a slugging percentage standpoint, you know, there's a lot more there historically. So he obviously got his hits, but you'd love to see those three, you know, really take off in the second half. And that is strike 3 on Story.
And the problem is, and I hate to say it, is when you get this deep into the season and where the Rockies are at based on their record, time's running out on these two guys to continue to get more opportunities to play and try to find themselves out of it.
Well, the Rockies, again, one of the other reasons they are 13 games above 500. Not only the pitching, but the depth they've had. So guys like Tapia have filled in admirably. Pat Valaika has filled in nicely. And to your point, you know, at some juncture, you start losing playing time when you don't perform. It doesn't matter what the back of your baseball card says. Charlie's 2 hits tonight lead the Rockies, single and a double against DeGrom. Charlie thinks that may be fair, and is that, it's hard to tell down there. We can't see in that corner. Evidently it was a foul ball.
There's not a lot of foul territory here at Citi Field, but it's well foul. Good 3-4 feet.
I said earlier it's Charlie's 71st run scored when he scored in the 6th inning. Actually, his 73rd run scored. He's filled up every possible offensive category.
You heard Jenny's stat from earlier today. It's incredible. First player in baseball history before All-Star break to have 17 or more doubles, 10 or more triples, 20 or more home runs.
Crazy.
That's
right?
crazy.
Yep. Eighth inning. Here's pitch number 101. Slider just missed. Great ratio, 71 strikes and 102 pitches. And that's, you know, from DeGrom's standpoint, that's what it ought to be. When you have a big lead, you shouldn't be nibbling, especially with his stuff. Even when he's center cut, it can't be easy to hit.
No, he's not. And is the notorious fan group here at Citi Field, the 7-line army, all on their feet, cheering on DeGrom to finish off Charlie Blackmon.
2-2.
That group travels very well. We watched Mike Piazza's Hall of Fame speech last year. He gives a shout out to this group of fans.
And he beats Charlie with a fastball. That is his 11th strikeout of the night. 1-2-3, 8th inning for DeGrom. 12-2 Mets. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. First of 3 at Citi Field tonight has not gone well for the Rockies. They're down 12-2. They've been out hit 17-4 with Ryan Spilborghs and Jenny Kavnar. I'm Drew Goodman. And Scott Oberg will throw the bottom half of the 8th inning. Jordan Lyles went a couple of innings, and he gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. Oberg throwing not too far from home. Connecticut kid. Good moving fastball is just nicked by Lucas Duda.
Oberg was telling me how good it was to be able to be home Northeast. Ride the train about an hour and a half to get back to New York. I mean, that's the beauty of All-Star break. And Keith Duggar's going to run out and check out.
It's the second
Ryan
time
Hanigan.
it's been hit tonight. Took one off the mask, now the thumb. Look at that glove. It's ripped. And the reason I point that out is anybody who's played, they've ripped gloves and that sort of thing, and they've kept using gloves, right? But in the big leagues, man, you get how many gloves do you wear? A lot of guys, they wear it once and they flip it to the fans after a game. Handy, we can get you another set of gloves, right? Oh, he got thumped.
That hurts. He even wears a gigantic thumb guard. You can see the plastic thumb guard. That doesn't even protect him. There's got to be so many times during a major league catcher's career that they're sitting back there, head down, going, why did I pick being a catcher? Oh, wait, I can't run very well, so I'm stuck back
as
here.
you know, catchers will tell you it's the greatest position because they're involved in every play. They take immense pride in calling a game. I would say this, the catcher has to have more energy than anybody else on the field because 8 guys are watching you. So if you are lethargic in your actions, kind of rubs off on everybody else. DJ's out there. Duda loses a hit. Nice play by LeMahieu. Billy, you have this read. It's on Purple Monday coming up. Go ahead. Take it
You might as well do it. July 17th is the next Purple Monday. Download the MLB Ballpark app to check in for your chance to win prizes.
That's nice. Download the MLB Ballpark app. So next Purple Monday is Monday.
Yeah. Sharp.
Against the Friars.
You're sharp.
Reyes 2 for 4. And that pitch on the inside corner from Oberg is a strike. Once you've gotten thumbed, that won't feel good until December.
Getting jammed as a hitter is awful. Getting a blister for a pitcher, awful. Thumb for a catcher, terrible. But the worst is fouling a baseball off your ankle, because that lasts forever. It's like getting a speeding ticket. It takes 3 or 4 years to get that thing off your record, depending on how fast you were going.
Spoken like somebody that has vast experience in that.
No.
Here's the 1-2 on Reyes, and Reyes with another hit. That was left out over the plate. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher. He'll come up. Everybody in the Mets lineup has reached tonight. And a quick view of the box score. Everybody has a hit in the Mets lineup tonight. DeGrom has 2. d'Arnaud has 1, but he's also walked. Reyes has 3. Duda has 2 hits and a walk. Rivera has 2 hits, including a home run. Bruce has a hit and a walk. We didn't notice Amarista's in center field now for Blackman. Curtis Granderson's going to pinch hit for Jacob DeGrom. Everybody in the Mets lineup, so again, I take a closer inspection of the lineup card tonight, has reached at least twice. Conforto's on deck. He's reached 3 times. Cespedes 3 times. Duda 3 times. Reyes 3 times. You get the picture. It's been an ugly night. 18 hits for the Mets. .20 on the Chicago native Curtis Granderson. .3-0. Granderson draws a walk.
You talk about some years that Curtis Granderson pieced together. Back at 2011, 2012.
40 Jack years.
84 home runs in 2 years.
He took advantage of Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, well, you should. After that year, he signs with the Mets. A couple years after, signs with the Mets. Never quite back to those 40 home run seasons.
We're talking about the in-game box. Conforto is at the plate right now, up for the 6th time. One ball, one strike. I didn't notice those socks Reyes is wearing. He's got the Manhattan skyline on him. No swing. 2-1.
They're nice.
Two and 2, 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Oberg, fouled off. And another walk. So the bases are loaded for Asdrubal Cabrera.
You know what? If you're going to have an ugly game and you're not going to
get it all out,
get
right?
it all out today.
Well, wouldn't you know it? The Marlins took a 4-3 lead against the Dodgers to the top of the 9th inning. Need I tell you more? The Dodgers scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th, and now they have a 6-4 lead with Kenley Jansen on the hill in the bottom of the 9th in Miami.
Yeah, they just have the magic. Probably a hot dog vendor slipped and fell, distracted an infielder. They had a walk-off the other day where it was a legitimate walk-off, 4 straight walks.
Then they had the meltdown by Fernando Rodney a little more than a week ago when Arizona couldn't protect a 4-1 lead. Now you can't worry about the Dodgers, can't worry about Arizona. You got to take care of your own business. And tonight the Rockies failed to do that. Momentum is next day's starting pitcher, and next day's starting pitcher for the Rockies will be Tyler Chatwood, who is typically outstanding out on the road. Cabrera takes high, ball 1. It's 1-2.
Chatwood will go up against Seth Lugo. This was another young arm that the Mets have hoped would be part of their playoff push. Guy that battled injuries earlier in the season. Another darling of StatCast. You look at his curveball.
Yeah, just watching tonight, Spilly, not to interrupt you, but you know, Oberg has now thrown 23 pitches, and he's a guy that, you know, Buddy's been using 7th inning on the plus side a little bit. You want him to pitch himself out of an opportunity to be available tomorrow in a mop-up inning in a game you're behind by 10 runs.
So the fresh irons for the Rockies tomorrow are going to be Russ and McGee, Ottavino, and Holland. And Holland pitched an inning in the All-Star game.
It's now full. Wow. So many deep counts. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Asdrubal Cabrera at the plate. Here's the 3-2. Jeff Hoffman Sunday for the Rockies against left-hander Steven Matz. Hoffman was on MLB Central this morning with Matty V. He went with his good buddy Kyle Freeland.
They come as a package.
Yep. That's ball 4 and a run forced in. 3 walks and a base hit allowed by Scott Oberg. And it's 13-2 with Cespedes coming up. Steve Foster not wanting to go to the mound, but he feels obligated. There's the group photo. Matty V on the right, Lauren Jihadi. I know Dave Valley, there's Dave Valley on the left. Dave was in studio today. Filling in for Mark DeRosa. D-Row had the day off. D-Row's funny, dude.
It's a good show.
It's a great show. What I do every morning, right? While we work out. Hoffman was telling me today that I said, did you say anything to your buddy during the near no-no on Sunday? He said no. He goes, I'd be like doing drive-bys, though. I wouldn't say anything. I walked by him. The first 7 innings, Kyle told me he sat next to Raimel Tapia every inning.
Hoffman sat by Tapia?
No. Kyle did. Freeland sat next to Tapia in the dugout every inning. And then all of a sudden he goes, Tapia wasn't there in the 8th. He said, I think Cargo went to him and said, get out of there. You're not sitting next to him anymore. Now, he was doing great, but the point is you always leave the pitcher by himself in that situation. So nobody, the only person who talked to him the last couple innings was the skipper, Buddy.
So that game, I was working pregame, postgame, and we weren't going to have an on-field interview. And as the game was progressing, told by my producer, get down on the field. Might be part of something special. And before I left the press box to go down to the field, I went to every guy in their seat in the press box, and I found Thomas Harding, who was watching the game because it was hot. He was eating in the food room at Coors Field, and I said, if you move, I'm blaming you. So I get down to field level. I'm nervous. I've never been that nervous for a game in forever. Probably dating back to Baldo's no-hitter. Gives up the hit. After the game, I asked Thomas if he moved. He said yes, so we blame Thomas Harding.
This is slowly hit to Valaika, and Cespedes beat it. Granderson scores. 14-2. And again, this is, forget the cosmetics, of 12-2 now, 14-2. You're talking about a 30-plus pitch inning for Ober.
Again, not a lot that Valaika can do. Pitch just beats Jonas inside. And based on where he was, the way he swung, the way he got out of the box, there's been a lot of soft contact tonight, but regardless, they're hits. They're finding holes.
Now Jay Bruce. This is the 8th inning, and the first 4 hitters in the Mets lineup have had 6 plate appearances.
Well, maybe they'll be tired tomorrow.
19 hits. .35 pitches for Oberg. DJ on one hop. Couple runs for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. 14-2. Mayhew's going to lead it off in the 9th inning against Josh Edgin. Follow at AT&T Sports Net RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco specials. You have to change that to what you used to follow when the Rockies score 7 or more runs.
Lefty Josh Edgin in now to face DJ LeMahieu. Edgin, former 2010 draft pick by the Mets in the 30th round. 902nd overall pick.
His first pitch is in there for a strike. DJ 0 for 2 and a walk. DeGrom went 8 innings, allowed 2 runs, just 4 hits. He walked 1, struck out 11. And a base hit for LeMahieu. This is Alexi Amarista. Came in for Charlie in center field last inning. A couple innings ago, actually.
Hey, you look at the Rockies. We were looking at the Mets line score from tonight. There's only been 3 base runners since the first inning for the Rockies.
He had 3 hits and a run in the first inning. The only hit since then, prior to DJ's, was a double by Charlie off the left center field wall in the 6th. That was leading off. Charlie would eventually score on a wild pitch. Parra has the only RBI this evening. Matt Reynolds has come in at 3rd. Rockies had a pitcher by the name of Matt Reynolds. Moved on to Arizona. He was left-handed though. Didn't play third base.
Nope. And no relation to Mark Reynolds.
Nope. I haven't checked on Matt Reynolds. Still around? That's a good guy.
I know he had some arm problems his last year with Arizona, and I think that was 2 years ago.
Amarista is the first out of the 9th inning. 12 strikeouts by the Rockies tonight. I'd like to see that number diminish a little bit in the second half. Parra, the single in the first, 2 fly balls to left. Thought he had a sac fly in the 6th. DJ came home and was called safe initially on a throw by Yoenis Cespedes. They reviewed it in Midtown and determined that a tag did preclude his foot touching home plate, so it was reversed, turned into a 7-2 double play that ended the 6th inning. Two strikes on Parra.
Drew, I know you love schools, different schools, and Joshua Edgin. You are also a champion of the Northeast. Where's Francis Marion?
I have heard of it, and I'm trying. I can't even tell you off the top of my head what state it is. Is that like in Tennessee?
I'll start researching.
Twitter's blowing up right now. Everybody. Francis Marion's my alma mater. It's in.
I found a hotel in South Carolina. That's not it.
Could be a clue, though.
It's in Florence, South Carolina.
See, I told you it was a clue. Geographically, I was not that far off. I had it in the South.
I guess the next question is, who's Francis Marion?
Guy who started a school. What do you got on Francis Marion?
Well, I'll give you something on the athletics program because I'm curious about where Edgen went to school. NCAA Division II in the Peach Belt Conference. 13 members: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina.
I know a little bit something about that conference. 2-2. This is pulled to right. Base hit for Parra. And DJ will stride into third base. That conference has like West Georgia, West Alabama. It used to have University of Montevallo in Alabama. They just switched conferences. UNC Pembroke. How about that? We've been around sports too long, haven't we?
Long time.
Start naming teams in the Peach Belt, right? It's a good baseball conference, though. In fact, here's a little known fact for you. 2 years ago, they had more guys drafted out of that conference than the Big East. Mark Reynolds at the plate, 0-2. And Mark's gone. And Montevallo's head coach is Chandler Rose, who was an assistant at Air Force and is a big Rockies fan.
Making that up.
I am not making that up. You can look it up. Cargo coming up.
And for Cargo, it's been 3 not great at bats. So you're hoping this left on left can help him keep that front side in, get that good timing back.
Cargo grounded out weakly to second. He struck out on 3 pitches in the 4th and then had his bat broken and hit a little jam shot flare that was caught by the second baseman Cabrera. First and third, 2 outs in the top of the 9th. One's fouled off. You know, the way it's gone for Carlos, it's hard to remember very many at-bats that he didn't have 2 strikes on him at some point. You know, the ball has not been frequently in play early in counts or on a 1-1 pitch, or you don't see too many 2-0 pitches this year, unfortunately, with Cargo. 1-2. Parra moves up to second.
And you look at the numbers, the amount of ground balls that Cargo has hit this year. All the advanced metrics are based.
Three and 2. Billy, we lost your mic. What do you got going, dude? Now we got you. Go ahead.
Trying to get to the point where I'm saying when we look at advanced metrics, you look at numbers, you look at exit velocity, you look at all these stats that push you and kind of tell you that, hey, Cargo is going to break out of it, but none of the numbers are there. High ground ball rate, weak contact.
A walk here to load the bases. And that'll bring up Pat Valleca.
And having known Cargo for so long and knowing how big of a struggle baseball can be, for me it's, all right, the statistics don't tell you that you're going to break out anytime soon. But you still have to trust yourself. You still have to have that supreme confidence. But you can tell in body language, you can tell the way that Cargo's carried himself. I haven't seen a lot of smiles. He wants to be a great teammate. But when you're not playing well, I heard a quote last week. He knows what it feels like to be the best player in baseball. Right now, he feels like the worst.
Tough place to be. Some of the Mets fans, 27,582, a little frustrated. They want to see their team shake hands, and Josh Edgen not having a smooth ninth inning. Single, walk. There's been a couple of strikeouts in there also. And he's behind Valleca 2-0. Pat's 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs and a fly ball to right. Center field and right at Michael Conforto. That ends the ball game. Well, every team on occasion needs to push the delete button, and the Rockies would love to push the delete button right now and forget about their first game in the second half in 2017. They get blown out 14-2 as the Mets produce 19 hits. The winning pitcher, Jacob DeGrom, he's now a 10-game winner. He's 10-3. The losing pitcher, John Gray, he drops to 2-1. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game provided by Jacob DeGrom. Though he had plenty of offensive support, he did throw 8 innings of 2-run baseball, allowed just 4 hits, only 1 walk. He struck out 11, again improving to 10-3. Again, the final score 14-2. New York wins the first of 3 here in Queens. Time to get you to our AT&T Sportsnet studios back in Denver. Here's Mark and Hewitt.